You can't hear me? Sorry, I can't shout. This is my best I can. And I would like to point out that about 2 years ago in Sweden, some of the families of the victims of political prisoners genocide in Iran had a small gathering. This was in summer of 2007. And we were listening to all the stories and the predicament and the bereavement and the grief that they had to suffer during 1988. The summer of 1988 was one of the darkest periods in Iranian history, in the contemporary Iranian history. So you're not. That's even better because we'll save time. During 1988, around about 5,000 political prisoners, whom most of them had already served their sentences, were taken out of their prison cells. They were blindfolded. They were taken into a room where they met a team of death commission. Basically, the job of the death commission was to ask a few questions, and that was, are you a Muslim? Do you belong to the Mujahideen? Do you repent? If any of those answers were no, they were executed. They were either hanged or they were shot in prayer rooms and in prison cells. We only know about 5,000 names because most of the political parties and most of the families had actually collected the information about the names of the victims, about their loved ones who actually lost their lives. The tragedy was such that even the graveyards, even the mass graves were undisclosed. No one had any information where they were taken, where their bodies were actually lying. Until recently that some of the families discovered a cemetery, a derelict cemetery in the southern suburbs of Tehran called Khabar. And that's in fact where most of these families gather every year and they commemorate the memories of their loved ones. Basically, there are not enough information about how many were executed. We do have access to about 5,000 names, but it's estimated that around 20,000 political prisoners were executed in the summer of 1988. Amongst which there were of all sorts of ideologies. There were believers of different political organizations whose only aspiration in life was to exercise human rights in Iran, and that is freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and freedom of basically being treated as a human being. That was their only thought. 2 years ago when we were in Sweden and when we spoke to some of the families of the victims of this mass genocide, it was decided that the Iranian regime and the world media, the world opinion in general, was totally ignorant about what actually happened in the summer of 1988. And it was decided that it was the world not only would benefit from revealing the facts that went on during 1988 in order to prevent any further genocide and any further exercises by any totalitarian government in the world, it doesn't matter where. It must be stopped. This human tragedy must not happen anywhere else in the world, and we must do something about it. It was the responsibility of the Iranian families, the victims' families, to raise the issue, to bring it up to surface, to let the entire world know that what actually happened in the summer of 1988 to around 20,000 political prisoners.